Hi everybody, Aazam here, your transformation coach and founder of Heal the Heart. I empower you to achieve mental and emotional clarity, find your purpose and take actions toward living a more fulfilled and happier life. We are here for another Bits of Inspiration series where women come to inspire and empower each other. We are joined by Cassie Eads. She's here to talk about parenthood. As parents, we try to do our best and best based on what we know, which is most often is colored by the way that we have been brought up. However, in order to make sure that we are actually doing our best, we need to be able to reflect and answer those difficult questions that is that really what I'm doing the best thing that is best thing for my child, and be willing to change
Right.
if that honest voice in our heart tells us no, things can be better.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Cassie, for coming. I really appreciate your time. So tell us about how did you get to that point that you knew that what you were doing was not the best?
Wow, that's a very loaded question.
Yes.
I'd like to start just by saying how grateful I am for this opportunity to speak to all of you and to just share a little bit about learning and growing through parenting. And I'll start with my story. I'll tell you a little bit about how I got to where I'm at. About 3 years ago, my son was 8, and I've always had really good communication. Communication's really important to me, probably because I didn't grow up with it. So I just started early with my kids, and I was putting them to bed one night. We always talk at night, so I'm like, safe space, ask anything you want, whatever's on your mind, let's talk about it. No judgment, no trouble, just grow, learn, talk, And my boy is very outspoken, very forward. And this night, he, in a real low voice, which is unusual, so instantly I was already guarded. He was just like, Mom, I want to tell you something, and I don't want you to be mad. I want you to promise you won't be mad. And I'm like, listen, you can tell me anything. This is what we do. We talk and we work through it. And the following words shattered my entire life, because he says, I don't think I'm the version of myself that everybody wants. I don't think everybody wants and loves me. Everybody's always saying I'm wrong. There's something wrong with me. I don't do it right. And he says, I don't know how I'm going to live like that, and I don't know what else to do. Now, keep in mind that parenting is my world. It is just my passion, and I'm good. If there's one thing I'm confident in saying that I'm great at, it's parenting on all fronts. So laying next to my child and hearing him say that he's concerned how he's going to live not being enough or not the version of him that's loved was heartbreaking. It felt like somebody was just like, put a knife to my chest and just started to twist. And, I took a deep breath, and I'm sitting there processing. You can imagine my thoughts are just like swarming. So I said, I go, you know what? I go, wow, those are big ideas, big thoughts. I go, can you tell me more? When did you start feeling like this, and like why, So he kept talking, and I kept listening as he talked. That little dagger just was like going
deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and slowly, because he's saying things like, well, Grandma and Grandpa always say this. Well, Daddy doesn't do this. Or the teachers always give me this. Or it's always, no, it's not right. You're not okay. Everybody is always at me, and I don't feel accepted or wanted. And and I'm just listening. And I said, he's 8. He should be worrying about riding a bike or building Legos, not being the best version of himself or being loved.
The fact that he was able to communicate.
Right.
And I applaud you for just taking a deep breath and being in that, however difficult it was, that being in this space to listen.
Ooh.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And, in many cases, I wish I could go back, because I reacted to something that my children said with emotions,
Right.
instead of teaching them or demonstrating that Okay, I'm listening. So,
Right. Thank you. In the moment, I didn't feel very proud of myself. In the
Of
moment, I mean, I'm just listening
the
and
judges,
yeah, in my head,
yeah.
I'm like, I thought I was a good mom, but what the heck have I been doing? Oh my gosh, I'm doing everything I didn't want to do. If my kid's feeling like this, wow, so there were a lot of negative chatter going around.
Of course.
So the way I ended that night is I told him, I go, I'm so proud of you for sharing, and there's nothing wrong with feelings. There's nothing wrong with these feelings. I said, but tomorrow, I said, Mommy's going to start doing some research and some homework because we're going to figure out how we can change some of those ideas because a lot of them just aren't true. And he just was quiet and he goes, okay, so I kissed him and left. I walked out of that room. I was pissed off. I was hurt. There are no words, I guess. I've never felt such anger or such failure in my...
Failure is the word that came to my mind.
Yes.
Because
like I said, the one thing I know I'm good at is parenting, being a mom. It's just...
It's what you love to do.
Yeah, it's my passion. It lights me up from the inside, So I walked out of his room that night determined to change. I refused to let my kids, or even, this is my 8-year-old. I have a younger one too. I refused to be okay with him and these feelings. So I decided immediately I needed to take a step back out of everything and look at myself. I needed to look at everything that affected the kid, everything. Me, my language, my house, my marriage, the school, the teachers, our grandparents, the words. I started seriously self-diving into every aspect. And it was not over a week. It was instant. My boy said he didn't think he wanted to live. My boy said he wasn't loved. He wasn't the best version of himself.
You were looking for why.
And then when I walked out of that room, I'm like, oh me, I'm such a failure. I'm so bad. And then between that moment and realizing I refused to let him stay that way is when I realized it's not about me anymore. I needed to get over me because it's about him. Yeah. He's 8. He's the one feeling like he doesn't want to live. Yeah. So at that moment, I knew it didn't matter which road I was going to end up going down, but I was going down roads because he wasn't going to remain feeling like that.
And you recognize, it's unfortunate that some of us, when we hear all of that, we stay in that place of failure. Right. And we either don't have tools or the skills or the willingness to take the actions in order to really dive deep within our own soul and figure out what it is that I need to change in order to serve my child better. Because like you said, it's not about you anymore. No. You brought this child into this world, and your job as a parent is to make sure that he or she has the best possible tools and skills to be the best version of himself and be able to deal with those emotions so he can grow
and
as
survive.
A whole person. Yes. And unfortunately, that's what happens. So many people don't go that route and just stop right there and blame themselves. And things get out of hand. So tell us a little bit more about what that process was. And then you, because of what you have done, you founded an organization that is called Listen Within to Win.
Yes, Listen Within to Win.
So tell us about the process and how it got you to starting that organization and what you're doing with it.
Excellent. So first off, I started with me, self-diving. I started realizing there were areas of my life that I had allowed to get off task, like marriage, communication. I got so wrapped up in the noise that life brings, my responsibilities, gotta take care of my mom, gotta take care of everybody else in my circle that couldn't manage